BBC Radio Lancashire.
John Nish at BBC Radio Lancashire. Coming up after 8 o'clock, Tim Cook, postman and former rat catcher of the district.
Is he a former rat catcher?
I went rat catching with Tim down the canal in Wigan. We'll talk about that when Tim comes in to do the papers this morning. Maybe he'll take you.
You're all right.
You know, I think we can arrange that. It's
what, rat catching in the year 2020?
There's nothing wrong with going to do a bit of rat catching, you know.
Okay. I'm up for it.
I felt really excited to do that.
I bet you did.
Could it be I'm Falling in Love? David Grant and Jackie Graham on BBC Radio Lancashire. Joined now by Tim Cook.
Good morning.
Tim Cook to do the papers today. Tim Cook, postman, former rat catcher, and folk singer of this parish.
Yeah, well, sort of, but ex-folk singer like Chonky Feckles now. It's we've wrapped it up.
Goodness me, but you know, but you could still end up with having your mail delivered by your good self.
Well, you certainly can if you live in the Wigan area.
I was promising Nish that maybe you could take her for a trip down the cut and maybe do a bit of rat
Well,
catching.
I do keep my hand in with the pest control,
yes.
So I'm always open to that kind of invitation.
I think that'd be quite exciting, wouldn't it? I think Nish is quite
very exciting
by the thought of popping
catching
down
a rat.
The
Rats. Well, I heard you talking about fleas as well, so you know.
Well, they called me a crushed flea.
I didn't call you a crushed flea. I said that you were wearing.
Did you call me? Did you?
I said that you were wearing a puce top.
Who comes out with puce though?
And I didn't realise until someone texted us telling me that the puce is the colour of a bloodstain left by a crushed flea. I had no idea.
Or a bedbug.
Tim, looking at my scarf, what colour would you say it is?
I'm colourblind. No. I'm keeping neutral on this.
Well, this is good, isn't it?
You know.
Well, there we go.
I do not want to smack on New Year's Eve.
So anyway, I've arranged for a date with you and Nish to pop down the canal.
Definitely.
and catch a few rats. But Tim, we're not just here for just idle conversation. What's in the papers today?
Well, as we normally find out in between Christmas and New Year, it's usually a very light news day, but as is customary now, we have lost quite a few decent people over the last 12 months. And only yesterday, it was the death of Python's song ace Neil Innes, or Innes, however you pronounce it.
Innes, isn't it?
Innes,
So coming from the ukulele community, these Bonzo Dog Doodah Band. I'm the urban spaceman. That is well known all over the country with these ukulele clubs. So there's quite a few renditions of that on the internet last night in tribute to Neil. But also over the year we've lost people you grow up with, like Windsor Davis back in January. You know,
I thought that was long ago in the past. But no, it was just.
And then Albert Finney, and then Mr. Andrew Preview. As Malcolm and Wise called him, is Andre Previn. That was back in February. But quite a few young people as well. Luke Perry from Beverly Hills 90210 we lost. Freddie Starr and the BBC's very own Diane Oxbury back in January.
Absolutely.
So remembering those people and a lot more who's passed in the last 12 months.
It is interesting if you look on Twitter today. Because the wonderful June Whitfield passed away a year ago.
Yeah.
And she was marvellous. And people, it's this thing where people die a second time on the internet, where people notice it. And
a year later.
And it suddenly starts trending a year later. And June Whitfield is the number one trend on Twitter this morning.
Good grief.
And June passed away a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I've seen similar things where it's been years, and obviously people have either forgot or just missed it the first time around. Tony Hart
has died about 3 times on the internet.
It's, so it's all these classic people you grow up with, so they're getting a second bite of the apple, as it were.
What else is happening, Tim?
999 complaints. It's just basically prank calls. Hard-pressed police have already got a lot on their plate, so it didn't go down very well when a woman phoned them up to complain about her fast food delivery.
Or was this about the sausage?
It is. I only ordered 1 Savoy and chip, she said, but they have sent me 3. So that apparently warrants a 999 call to the emergency services.
Which is clearly ridiculous, Tim, you know, for any kind of those kind of calls to the 999 service. But in truth, if someone had sent me 3 Savoys, I would say thank you very much.
BBC Radio Lancashire.
Baby, Love Shack, baby. The B-52s, and that bit, you know, driving down the Atlantic Highway. I always think that's in North Devon. What a great song. In fact, the Atlantic Highway is in North Devon. I don't think it's the Atlantic Highway that they're talking about or indeed singing about there. We were kind of dancing a bit, grooving to that.
You were?
Well, I was, that's a great top tune, as they say on the radio.
Busting a few moves.
Tim Cook is here. Tim's our presenter's friend this morning. He's taking a look at the papers and talking other bits of nonsense with us.
Yes.
Have we sorted out a date for you to go for Nish to go rat catching on the?
Not yet. We'll discuss it later on.
She's got a very busy diary. We found out. Yeah,
I think she has.
Yeah, no.
I think she has. Has it been busy? Because I think that we're actually sending fewer Christmas cards these days. I'm going to say, has it been busy for you on the post?
It's been extremely busy.
Has it?
Busier than last year. I've just experienced my second Christmas with the Royal Mail, and doing between 10 and 12-hour days and ridiculously early starts.
Is that with cards or letters or
gifts? It's cards and parcels and packets. Apparently, the super centre in Warrington, where the Royal Mail hub is, they've got hold of this new machine that does parcels, and it can scan 5 times faster than the previous one, plus bigger.
Oh, right.
So we've been going in the morning, and there's just trolleys full of parcels. So they just say, right, take those out. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, you get it on somebody's door, and you're waiting for the light to come on, and there's your parcel.
Can I ask you something? We've noticed that our postman around the area still wears his shorts.
It's obligatory.
This is something
Do
that
you
Tim
wear
and myself
yours?
have discussed in the past.
Are you not cold?
No, everyone says that it's not your legs that basically cop it, it's your fingers and the top half. So you'll always be wrapped up with your woolly hat and thing, but the legs. And it's in case if you have your trousers on and it does rain and you get wet trousers, then you're in trouble.
Right.
We do carry waterproofs as well, but if you're halfway around a walk and you get wet pants, and then all your cards turn to mush and your pens don't work. And but if it rains and you've just got your bare skin, it runs off. And
did anyone leave you a brew outside or a little chocolate or something?
I had a lady come down the street and said, would you like a hot chocolate? Which was very nice, but I think she was an old Royal Mail employee, so she knew what it was like. She knew the thing.
Is that nice? Did you appreciate that?
I did, but you work in a team, so you go out in pairs. It's called park and loop, so you both go out in a van, park up, and you both go out in a big loop, and you should get back to the van at the same time.
Really?
So if I'm sat with my feet up having a brew in somebody's house, my mate's waiting at the van, thinking, where's Tim gone?
The thing is, Tim, it's a really hard job. I did the Christmas delivery when I was a student back at university, and this was down in the Black Country in Wolverhampton, where there's some very steep hills there. And it's a very, very tiring thing to do.
It's a good workout.
Yeah.
It took me about 6 to 7 weeks to get acclimatised, and I was just I'd go home and just fall asleep.
But you said that you park up and you're in pairs. So if you're doing a big loop, do you have to carry all your letters and your gifts with you in a sack?
Yep.
And carry it? What if it's heavy?
If it's heavy, then you have a trolley.
So yes, I have seen
it's like 2 bags on a trolley. So one side's normally got the parcels, one's got the mail, and if you're brave enough, you can put one on your back and walk around as well. So that has been happening over the Christmas rush, really.
You see, I live in a rural community, and so the
you have Postman Pat coming round.
We have Postman Pat. We have Postman Pat in his little red van.
Yeah.
And he comes down the hill because you've been to the house too.
I have.
You've been looking for rats at the back of my house.
I have.
Yes, indeed. And
gone full circle here.
Full circle, yes. And we have a nice little man comes in the van. I guess it depends on what part of the country you're in, doesn't it?
Well, I was talking to a fella in the Staveley Brewery not so long back, and I said, the ideal location for the Royal Mail was the one in Ambleside, driving into Ambleside.
Right.
And I said, if I get a transfer up there, he said, well, yeah, you've got to put your name on the list. Apparently, there's a list a mile long. I think everybody wants to transfer.
How many miles do you cover then in a day walking? Because good for your health, isn't it?
It is. It's round about 10. But
10 miles
a day. So it can't. But if it's a busy day, you can go up to 12.
Do you have one of those Fitbits? Other brands are available.
Yeah.
How many steps do you clock up then?
26,000.
That's good going.
Yeah.
You could do a marathon, couldn't you? Easily.
Well, probably the coast-to-coast walk would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm not a runner. I've tried it, and I just pass on that one. But I don't mind walking over the fells.
Sharon, who's reading our news this morning, Sharon's a bit of a superwoman.
All right.
You know, she does all these kind of extreme challenges, and I believe. From stalking Sharon on social media, I believe Sharon is going to do a marathon next year.
Is she? Are you signing her up already?
So.
She's coming in.
Oh, she's coming in. She's coming in to tell us.
Is she?
It's what? You can come in. Yes, you can come in. You're allowed in. You work here.
I thought she already did a marathon though.
I think she's doing a marathon next year. Let's.
Did you do a marathon?
Let's go. Good morning. Hello again, Sharon. Yes. So.
Just to correct you, I'm going to attempt the London Marathon.
Oh, right.
Training begins on Sunday.
Ah.
Is John your personal trainer?
Johnny's not my personal trainer, to confirm. Johnny's not.
You'd never complete it if
I
it was.
think I would be very good at personal training. And we kick off with scones. Scones, cream
Yeah,
and
you'd
jam.
be great for recovering refreshments,
You want
John.
to complete this. I know you're attempting it. You want to complete it.
I want to complete it successfully.
So Tim, as somebody who walks 10 miles a day, do you have any advice for our superwoman, Sharon?
Yeah, just
Go on.
sleep.
Thank you
Plenty
for
of
that.
sleep after that, you know.
I won't have time to sleep. I'll be too busy running,
So
training.
you're actually doing the London Marathon?
I've got a charity place in the London Marathon with my my best friend, and we are raising money for Children with Cancer UK.
Fantastic.
Because that's really hard to get into, isn't it, the London?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gutted when we got a place.
Look, Tim, you've been here to talk papers. We've talked no papers at all. So stay around a bit after 9 o'clock, and we'll talk a bit more about papers.
Okay.
And the news is coming up next with Sharon, if she's got time to fit us in between the marathon training. 20 minutes to go of the latest hit radio partnership.
Till we finish the last breakfast show of the decade.
The decade, yes. And then I'm back tomorrow with the first one of a new decade, which will be totally exciting.
Tim Cook's with us. You're doing the papers, aren't you? What's in the papers today?
Well, this one should get the pest controller's ears pricked up. It says beetles, that's the insect beetles, are on top of 400 species found, new species found. More than 400 species have been discovered this year by experts at the Natural History Museum, including a beetle named after the teenage environmental campaigner Greta Thunberg.
What a great tribute to have a beetle named after you.
Yeah, dung beetle, Greta Thunberg, but extinct species include the pig-footed bandicoot, a marsupial that had vanished by the 1950s, plus 2 species of dinosaur were also discovered, including a type of stegosaur.
These are things that are now extinct. They didn't find a couple of dinosaurs living on a remote island in the South Pacific, did they?
No, John.
These were just...
It's like Jurassic Park is coming to life.
I know.
So yeah, it's amazing that they're still out there looking for new species, and they've found 400 over the last 12 months. Bizarre.
Extraordinary.
Go on, what else have you got?
Why? When we're all, like you say, walking 10 miles a day doing the post, and we're all feeling a little bit jaded, there's a guy here, a World War II hero pilot. He's still doing his very own shopping at 105 years of age.
Good on him.
Yeah. Fred survived the Nazi camp ordeal, and it's a World War II. Fred Vincombe was captured after being shot down in France in 1944 and then sent to a prisoner of war camp. He was weighing just 6 stone when he was released back and returned to England at the end of the war. He still goes on a weekly shopping trip, and he puts it all down to eating a healthy lifestyle. I kept out of trouble. I was doing a tax collection job until I was 80. So he says, always eat your greens, don't eat too much fried food, and have a good Sunday roast, and you should live to 105.
Good on him.
I will bear that in mind.
I wonder if he has a shopping trolley. You know them pull-along ones.
Hey, well, I don't know.
Do you know, I'm thinking of getting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think they're quite...
The ones that you drag along with?
Yeah, because sometimes you've got so many bags to carry, they get really heavy.
They do.
But the logical thing is to get a trendy-looking shopping...
Well, I picked one up years ago. We was going to a festival in London, and it was the bag, and then if you pulled... it turned into a chair. So you still had your bag and a chair. So
I like the idea of that.
So it's a festival, you've got a seat, and you've got your stash of goodies in the back.
That's Very clever.
It was very clever.
John's
and
not
I've
impressed.
never seen one since, so, and I don't know what happened to it.
John's not
Is,
impressed.
if you go to a music festival, the thing is sitting down is quite an important thing.
Yeah.
And the last music festival I went to was maybe 18 months back. It was the middle of summer, but by the time it got to midnight and the music's still on, it was very, very cold. So ideally somewhere to sit down and put a coat around you.
Have you ever seen those two guys round the town centres? They get them in for special events, and they're the huge shopping trolleys.
No.
And they're like what they call them, the segways.
Right.
But it's done up like a shopping trolley. They're stood up, but it looks like they've got false legs, and they're dressed up like old grannies, and they just whiz around on these old shopping trolleys and causing mayhem. And I can't remember the name of the act, but
that sounds
they've
really
been in
good
Wigan
fun.
a couple of times, and yeah, great stuff. Right, TV, and it looks like Davina's 100k show has been dropped by Channel 4.
I used to like that.
Well, I was surprised when I saw it. I thought this used to be £1 million
It was.
drop.
Doesn't it sound weird? Okay, so it was £1 million drop,
Yeah.
and then when it dropped down to 100k, it just doesn't sound right. 100k drop doesn't have the same ring.
And the thing is, they gave away kind of the same amount of money because most of them just lose 97% of it.
Yeah,
so
well.
They did.
So they're not going to renew it anymore.
It's done. Yeah, it said after the price show was slashed by £900,000. A TV insider said, with players handling £1 million in real cash, the trapdoor twist. It's just.
Well, you see,
I watched a lot of it when I was on maternity leave.
that was just the daytime version, that wasn't it? The prime time version's $1 million, daytime 100k.
That's sad.
Tim, look, it's been fantastic seeing you this morning. To be our presenter's friend for the
Thank
past,
you for having in, both of
the
you.
past
Yeah.
45
Thank you.
minutes.
It's been good fun.
Happy
we-
New Year.
We
And
will
the
do
same
it
to you.
again sometime in the future. Thank you so much. It is 9:15 now.
BBC Radio Lancashire.